No one expected a Silver Star recipient to limp into a courtroom least of all the judge, who was about to humiliate her. And absolutely no one expected what she'd do next, something that would end his career forever. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. The courtroom was already tense, filled with the low buzz of whispered conversations and shuffling papers. But all of it fell silent the moment she entered. Lieutenant Commander Marin Hale, once one of the Navy's most decorated SEALs, now walked with a metal cane tapping softly against the polished floor. A cane she never wanted. A cane she never asked for. A cane the war had forced on her, her right leg, partially paralyzed, dragged slightly. Her uniform was impeccably pressed, her ribbons aligned. But the unmistakable glint of the Silver Star on her chest drew every eye in the room. Everyone knew who she was. Everyone except the man sitting at the highest bench, Judge Randall Colton. And he was about to make the biggest mistake of his life. Marin didn't want her to be there. But she had no choice. She was fighting for her benefits, denied after the Navy declared her injuries inconclusive. Despite testimony from her entire unit, the judge had already built a reputation for dismissing veterans. Claims, to him, they were numbers, not lives. She took her seat quietly, her jaw tight, her hand trembling as she exhaled. The air felt cold, almost metallic. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead. Something in her stomach turned. The bailiff called the room to order. And Judge Colton, gray-haired, stone-faced, and known for his ruthless impatience, leaned forward as if annoyed before she even spoke. He looked at her medal, squinted, then scoffed. "Ms. Hale, remove that decoration from your uniform," he said sharply. "This is a courtroom, not a parade. Your medals are irrelevant here." A wave of murmurs swelled through the crowd. Someone gasped. A veteran in the back muttered, "You don't talk to a Silver Star like that." Marin froze. Her fingers instinctively touched the metal, cold, heavy, earned through pain no one in that room could imagine. It wasn't a decoration. It was a story, a graveyard of memories, the ghosts of teammates she lost. Her heart hammered. Her throat tightened. But she kept her voice steady. "Your Honor," she said softly, with respect, "this stays." The judge's eyes hardened. "If you don't remove it, I will hold you in contempt." A hush fell over the courtroom like a blanket smothering every breath. She thought she'd never relive that night. She thought she'd buried those memories for good. She was wrong. As she slowly rose to address him, the cane clattered lightly against her leg. Her body shook, not with fear, but with something deeper, something simmering, something that refused to be crushed. Her lawyer whispered, "Marin, sit, please." But she didn't. She raised her chin. She steadied her stance. And the room leaned in as if the air itself needed to hear her next words. For a brief moment, she didn't see the judge. She saw fire, sand, smoke rising into a night sky exploding with gunfire. The mission, the one the Navy buried under classified files. The one that destroyed her leg but saved 17 lives. The one for which she'd earned that Silver Star. Her breathing slowed, deepened. And then she spoke. "You're asking me to remove a medal I did not give myself. A medal I earned carrying men who no longer breathe." A woman in the crowd wiped a tear. A man whispered, "God, she's telling the story." Marin continued, her voice growing steadier, stronger with each syllable. "That night, I was the last one standing. Not because I was the strongest, not because I was the bravest, but because I refused to leave my team behind. This medal is not vanity, Your Honor. It's memory. It's weight. It's the faces of the ones I lost." The room held its breath. The judge did not blink. And then, in a tone coated with ice, he said, "The court does not recognize emotional displays as evidence. Remove the medal or be escorted out." The crowd erupted in protest. Veterans stood. Mothers stood. Even the bailiff looked conflicted. Marin exhaled slowly, and with a calm that unsettled everyone watching. She reached up, not to remove the medal, but to tap it gently with her fingertip. "Then escort me out," she whispered. But fate had other plans, because just before the judge ordered the bailiff forward, the doors at the back of the courtroom swung open and a wave of people surged in. Reporters, photographers, veterans groups, even members of Congress, Someone must have leaked the hearing. Or maybe the universe simply decided enough was enough. The judge lost color in his face. What is this? A man stepped forward. Retired Rear Admiral Scott Reddington, Marin's old commanding officer. His voice carried across the courtroom like thunder. What you're witnessing, he declared, is the attempted humiliation of a national hero. The crowd applauded. The judge slammed his gavel. The room shook. Marin, overwhelmed, swayed on her feet. Her cane slipped. A stranger reached out instinctively to help her, but she caught herself before falling. Her breath came in shallow gasps. The noise, the tension, the memories, it all spiraled inside her. She wasn't weak. She was tired of fighting alone. The Admiral continued, stepping to the center as cameras flashed. Lieutenant Commander Hale's injuries were recorded, documented, witnessed by her entire unit. She carried 3 men to safety under direct fire, losing the use of her leg in the process, and this court dares question her integrity. Then came the moment that shifted everything. He turned to Marin and spoke loudly so everyone could hear. "Commander, tell them what you told me right before. The evac helicopter arrived that night." Marin swallowed, struggling to push the words through her trembling voice. "I said, if one more person needs help, I'll crawl." A collective hush fell. A few people cried. Even the bailiff looked down, his eyes glossy. The judge's jaw twitched. "This is improper." "No," the Admiral cut in. "What's improper is a judge threatening a disabled veteran for wearing a medal earned through blood." The tension snapped like a rope pulled too tight. Phones streamed live. News outlets blasted updates. And within minutes, the courtroom became a battleground of truth versus authority. The judge, seeing his control slipping, tried one last tactic. "Commander Hale," he said coldly, "if you refuse lawful orders, you jeopardize your case and your credibility." Her credibility. That was the breaking point. Marin stepped forward, gripping her cane so tightly her knuckles turned white. "You want credibility?" she whispered. "Fine." She reached into her bag and pulled out a small, sealed envelope. The Admiral's eyes widened. He hadn't expected this. No one had. She handed it to the judge. "That," she said, "is the classified after-action report from the night I earned this medal, unredacted, signed by every surviving member of my unit, and by Admiral Reddington." The judge's face drained of blood. How did you?" "It was declassified yesterday," Marin said quietly, "by request of the Senate Armed Services Committee." A soft ripple spread across the room. Shock, anticipation, awe. The judge's fingers trembled as he unfolded the report, scanning the first page. His eyes widened, then again. And again. The truth hit him like a tidal wave. Her injuries, her actions, her heroism, all undeniable, all documented, all ignored because of him. A murmur began, growing louder. He denied her benefits. He hid evidence. "This judge is finished." He tried to silence her. The judge looked up, sweat beading at his temples. "This hearing is adjourned." He stammered. "No," a veteran shouted. "This hearing is over for you." And it was within weeks. Judge Randall Colton faced formal investigation for misconduct. The evidence Marin revealed exposed his long history of dismissing valid veterans' cases. Complaints poured in. His record was scrutinized. And eventually, inevitably, he resigned in disgrace. His career was over. Marin never celebrated. She never gloated. That wasn't who she was. When the ruling came, full benefits restored, medical support approved, and a formal apology issued, she simply nodded, thanked the board, and left quietly. But something unexpected happened outside the courthouse. A crowd waited. Hundreds, veterans, families, strangers, people who'd followed every update, people who felt connected to her strength. As she stepped out, the wind brushed softly through her hair. The air was warmer than before, lighter. Someone handed her flowers. Someone else saluted. Children waved small flags. For the first time in a long time, she smiled. Not for the victory, but for the understanding that sometimes courage echoes louder than injustice can silence. Sometimes standing your ground is enough to change the world. Because courage doesn't fade. It rises when someone tries to dim it. And the medal she refused to remove became the truth the world finally saw. If you enjoyed this story, Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful and inspiring tales like this one.